Hey everybody, it's OK Fixer. Well, it's about 1100 degrees out, and I decided I'd come out and sweat. We're going to be replacing this rocker channel in this video, and I've never done this before, so I'm going to do it the best way I know how. And that is, I'm going to have to iron it. Yeah. First thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the door on. I have secured this side with lots of strong pieces of metal, so I'm pretty sure once I zap this out of here, it's not going to fold in half. But I'm going to put the door on, and I think that's probably going to involve finding all the crap for the door. I do know where the door is, though. Yeah, that's a good thing. And run the screws in and out of those about 300,000 times to get them so they move. So we're going to put the door on that and then see if she shuts, and then line it up and get it so it shuts right. So we'll do that. And then my plan of attack here is to take a sawzall and just go, and probably where the seam is here, I'll probably just whack right in there like this, and do the same on this, and that way it won't leave a lot of heft where I can easily just knock the or drill or knock the spot welds out of it. It doesn't look too bad. I'm going to have to pull up this material a little bit, but that doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a challenge. So yeah, I'll probably do that first and then mount the door. Shouldn't be too hard. It'll be pretty easy. And probably taking out the there's a in the back in the bolts and the okay, we'll get into that. I'm following some advice that I seen on and Mike's channel, and he said before you do heater channels, get your doors to fit right. So I put this door on and I tried to get it, and man, it was way off. Okay. But it was easy to figure out because I had the front end and the back end jacked up, so it was like at the bottom and really tight at the top. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but yeah. So what I had done is, before I got my doors to fit right, I welded this piece in place. Okay. So so it was all there. Okay, so I took the bolts loose from the back here on both sides, so it's separated, and then I've got a 4x underneath there, and I've taken the front and the back off so it's sitting on the heater channels, and it's kind of relaxed it a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is, I've got this door to almost fit right. Believe me, that's wonderful from what it was doing. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a block underneath that corner, and I'm going to come up a little bit. It's a little tight at the bottom, but hey, I can fix that. That's not a problem. But it needs to come up a little bit, and so I'm going to, because it rubs, it needs to come up just a little bit more. So if I can put a little pressure on that door coming up like that, and whack that bottom hinge in just a little bit, I think we should be golden, or we should be closer. Probably that's okay, but I'm going to do a little bit more on it. And then what I'll do is, I will come with another piece of metal, because this is welded there, but I will come with another piece of metal with the door closed, and I will weld that. So at least this side will be okay. And then I'll put my bolts back in if they fit. and I think they fit. I put quite a bit of slack in there so they can go back and forth. But you know, just a quarter of an inch or something like that of pinch, and your door won't shut. So let me work on this a little bit more, get this door to shut right, and then we'll weld a section in there with the door closed and put our bolts in. We should be able to jack it back up and forth, and we should be able to open and close our door. And if all that is okay, then we can whack the heater channel out of it. Okay, it still hangs. See that? So I'm going to put my block underneath there and do it a little bit more. But we're getting closer. Alright, I have the door focus jacked up like that. And what I did is I reached up in here with both hands, and I actually had the door was supporting the body. That's how much pressure I put on it. And I had both my hands up in here and just pulling, and I felt something kind of give a little bit. So I don't know what it was. But yeah. So when you're dealing with a wreck, you know, what more can you do with it? Wreck it? So see it? See our chrome? See our chrome now? Isn't that sweet? Oh, look at that. Probably what had happened is exactly what I said. But you know, here's the deal. The doors didn't open and close right to begin with, even with the chassis on the car. So things were really goofed up bad. So I don't know what it was. Maybe the door had blown open or something like that, and they had sprung it or something. I don't know, but it had a check on it. So okay, so I'm happy with that. That shuts really nice. Now I'm going to get inside and I'm going to weld another. I've got a bar going from right here, and I'm going to connect onto that bar and take this back to here, and then I'll connect my two posts, and I'll lift it up on either end and see if I can shut my door. And if I can shut my door, then we still should be okay. So right, when I jacked it up again, well, first thing what I did is I didn't weld this. I just bolted it back down because it doesn't make any sense. It's still bolted to this pillar. So we should be connected. We should be fine. So I bolted that back, but the door kind of came askew again. Not a lot, just a little bit. I think I can fix it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack it up, and I'm going to cut this out and clean it all out, and then I'm going to set my heater channel on this, let the body down on it, kind of adjust it to where she's going to go, tack it a couple of times, and then adjust the door accordingly. And I think I should be able to have it, but I've got, you know, 90% of the door fit correctly. It just hangs up on the bottom a little bit. It needs to come up some, and I think what I'm doing is I'm pinching things a little bit. But you know, when I cut this heater channel off, what's going to happen then? You know, it's really going to pinch. We'll see what happens. You know, if I'm going to make one cut right here, and if the gap opens up like a ½ an inch, I'm going to have to do something else. But it shouldn't, because I have this connected to this panel right here, and it's welded here, and it's welded to this panel. So it should keep it from spreading. It should keep it from spreading. So let's give it a shot, see what happens. Okay, it didn't go completely apeshit bananas on me or anything. It did open up about that much, so it did spread a bit. You know, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. I'm just going to work it. There's no magic creases in the roof or anything that happened, so yeah. I'm just going to I got a little bit better idea of how this comes off here. It looks like I can grind that, and there's a lip here with a kind of a little, the body kind of goes like this and then attaches to the side of it. So, you know, we can get in there with a chisel, air chisel. Doesn't look too bad. This is separated completely from the, so we'll have to build a patch, a couple of patches, which won't be a big deal. You can see the seam sealer right here. Maybe not. We should be able to get that. This is terrible lighting. Should be able to get that out of there. And I've seen a couple of things that was kind of interesting. I always thought, and now that I have a pair of them and bought a pair of them, I understand that the body isn't the heating channel, because it's not. It's got a separate channel inside it, and this one was still intact. It had no holes in it. Well, I'd say it had no holes in it. It had very limited holes in it. A little hole right there. But more than likely, this would have still passed heat up to the front. And it still retains a lot of its original paint, and it was actually painted. Can't get that out of there, but you can see how it's a body panel, and then inside the body panel is an actual the heater channel. That's pretty interesting. Okay, what I'm going to do is get up underneath this and whack a little more, whack this off, and you know, I'm just going to clean this up the best way I can. I don't think I'm going to video it. And then I'm going to set my heater channel, but I need to get a pipe, because I'm going to put a pipe on that's going to go up here, so my fresh air hose will hook onto it. So you don't have to rent a monkey to get down there to get to hook that on there. So I'm going to put a big pipe on there like I did the other one, like I did the 67, and fit it up in there, and we'll let it down on the heater channel, and hopefully it'll come back into shape, and we can knock it around and get it into position and see how the door fits, and tack it a couple of times, see what we can do. Okay, because of the savageness of the rust, and my not knowing, probably pretty much not knowing what I'm doing, I'm doing it as neatly as I can. I started knocking out all the big holes and rot and whatnot, and I come to the conclusion that when I put this heater channel up here, there's nothing going to be there to attach it. So so I'm going to glue it up there with silicone. No, I'm joking. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set this thing up here, and I'm going to fit my door to it, and if the rest of the car looks like a Volkswagen, that's great, but I just want the door to fit right. So that's my plan. One point of reference I have is to be able to plug it into that heater channel, so I can get a fore and aft. But I'm going to have to make patches to, I've got a couple of small spots down here, and I have one small spot here, right there, that's a reasonable, where I can fold it over and attach it to the heater channel and tack it in place. Other than that, most of it's going to be patches. So like I said, I'm going to get the door to fit, and if the car looks like a Volkswagen when I get finished, hey, all right, that'll be great. I think it's too far forward though, and I'll tell you why. Just 1/4 of an inch. This little deal for the carpet needs to come this way some, just 1/4 of an, 3/8 of an inch. And I'm a little farther away, so probably 3/8 of an inch this way. But you can see I just got her up on a block and I just kind of line things up. Okay, I'm going to take this back up again and find me a pipe to go up there, and fix me a pipe that'll go up there, and that way my hose, it'll be easier to get a hose on there before I go and put that in there. I'll put that pipe on it. Okay, I'm not going to go by that little spot welded piece of nothing, because I can cut that down or whatever. It's got to fit right to begin with. So I have this little bit of a curve right here, and I have this curve that matches on the heater channel, and that looks pretty good right there. So, and if you look, she's just right at the end there. It's maybe a 1/16 of an inch gap. That's nice. It's pretty square here. It's fitting pretty good up in there. There's some gaps and stuff, but you know, once we tap that down and spot weld that, and then yeah, you know, we'll be okay. I think she's fine right there. Now this needs to come just a tick, just a tick, and you come this way just a little bit, I think. Yeah, probably just a little bit, like that much, not a lot. So I think she should be okay. Okay, I'm going to mark this with a pen because this is where I'm going to want it, and then I'm going to jack it back up again, and I'll find a piece of pipe, put a piece of pipe on there. See, this way you have this pipe up here, okay, and then you put a little brown 25 on the side so it doesn't rattle on there, and then you can just have a short hose, and you're not reaching your hand way down there to try to secure this hose onto your heater channel. And this point, you know, we can weld this on there, or we can use sheet metal screws or whatever you want to. I'm probably going to weld it, and then you can seal it, and it absolutely makes it tight. The defrosters on this car work scary good. They really do. They work really well because I don't have any leaks. Okay, here's what she looks inside. I'm gonna put 3 welds on it. I'm gonna prepare that a little bit better, but I'm gonna kind of bend it out a little bit, and I'm gonna put a couple of welds there. Then I'm gonna take a piece of metal, another piece of metal as a patch, because this is kind of rusty, and I'm gonna go up into the good metal and tack a nice little patch right there. And then right underneath the seatbelt bolt, I'm going to hit that right there. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the other side and do the body, just a couple of tacks, and then beat that in and do a couple of tacks on that. And then once I've got that down, now I've got the whole thing just on jack stands, just on these jack stands, the carts are supporting it is in the event that something would come down, but it's just on the jack stands right now, so the body is kind of relaxed. All right, so you know, it's not being pinched really hard on both sides. So what I'm going to do is tack these, and we'll see where we're at with the door in its relaxed position. I've got about 1/16 of an inch on the sill. Now I've got a little gap here, and it's probably from the body going, but I'm going to leave it alone. There's nothing more I can do because I've already tacked it in there. So, you know, I could go on and on, but it doesn't make any sense. I got gaps like this in the blue one too. So but the door shut's lovely. The door shut's pretty good. I do have it tacked there by the seat belt. I have a little patch right there. I still need to fold it around right at the sill, and then right at the firewall. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just work on these outside panels right here right now. I'm going to patch that. Actually, I'm going to go inside and eat and shut the camera off, but you're not going to know that. I'm going to work on a patch there that will attach to that heater channel, and then I'm going to cut a patch out here. Yeah, it's patch time. So probably there, and then I'll go on the inside and do a little bit more structure work. So I want to get this kind of so it looks like a Volkswagen, you know. Okay. With sheet metal, you're going to have to turn that down a bit, so I'm running my heat at C and my speed at about 1. And I'm just making a series of tacks. And what I've been doing is I'll run some self-tappers, some sheet metal screws in there, and you know I got it all worked out, and then I tacked it like far around, like one here, one there, one there. Don't work your way down because it'll warp real bad. So tack it, each corner and in the center and that kind of stuff, like 3 or 4 inches away. And then you can fill in the middle of those tacks, and then you can fill in those middles, and then you can fill in those middles until you got a bunch of little tacks. I don't think it's necessary, and take and run a bead on that stuff. Oh boy, that'd be difficult. If I had a really nice welder on a bottle, maybe. Okay, well, your sheet metal screws, when you pull them out, it leaves a neat little plug weld. So of course, to keep it from warping, I'm going to do this one, this one, this one, and then fill the center, and then this one and this one, and let them cool. The whole idea is don't get the whole patch real hot and walk it, because it'll twist and warp on you. I've left this intentionally off to the side here because I'm going to fold it over and weld that once I connect this piece. Also, I'm just showing you one patch. I'm probably not going to show you anymore. And also, when I do patches, that's about the length, all the farther I want to go, because you start getting bigger, and they start, and pretty soon you got a banana, and you're not covering any of the, just in my opinion. So if I can make a series of small patches, I'm happy. Yes, that looks like shit, but it's structurally sound. You know, it's going to be there as far as the structure. And I'm not building a I'm not building a concourse model, okay? This is, yeah, so this isn't, so, and my whole idea is if I can get the doors to open and shut, and it still sort of looks like a Volkswagen, hey, there we go, we're great. Okay, well, I'm going to hang this up, and I'm going to do some more patching, and if I run into anything odd, I'll video it. Hey, oh, here's something odd. I pulled the old heater channel out, and that little socket that comes in your original toolkit fell out of there. It was pretty cool. I have it. Yeah, that's great. About 1,000 more patches to go. Okay, I've been stitching away here, and I've got it kind of spotted in. I know there's a lot of holes, you can see a lot of light through there, but I have a lot of the patches connected, and pretty solid. And yeah. I tell you, it's so cool to be able to take a piece of political bullshit that you get in the mail and turn it into a patch. Again, thank you, Musty One, for showing me that, and thank you. There's another lady, Marcy Junebug or whatever. She does the same, and pretty neat making patches like that. Yeah, lots of stitching going on here. I took the fender and bolted it up so I could get an idea as to where I would put this. Looks like it's kind of stuck in there. Yeah, it should come out of there. Yeah, I'll leave it a little bit like that. I'll seam these up a little bit better now. This patch here, she went kind of over the top, and then I went inside and along the edge. I did not cut the original edge off of this. I just kind of ticked it on there. I'll grind it a little bit, and then pushed it in and tacked it. So, but you know, I mean, solid. So, you know, we can grind that, a little fiberglass on it. I only have to satisfy myself. Yeah. So I've got a little spot here I want to fix yet. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'll have to hit that with a grinder a little bit and see it comes. And then this patch here on the inside, I want to put another one overlapping, and probably it'll, I don't know if I can, yeah, I'll probably go up there. I hate welding upside down, but yeah, I'll have to do that, because I don't want this just, I want one on the inside and one on the outside. So I want it good and solid. So this looks horrible. It looks like Frankenstein. But you know, I mean, it's solid. So I'm happy. Okay, yeah, nothing really. It's just doing a lot of sewing, that's all. So a lot of, I hope the other side's not as bad, but it will be. Okay, all right. Okay, that might look like hell, but it's like a tank. Okay. Welds are kind of spotty and kind of crappy, but the metal is joined together. The structure is there. I took this piece and I folded it over, essentially made a pattern and kind of snipped it, and then folded it, and then folded the pieces over and weld them up underneath. It's just wonderful to be able to take a piece of paper like this and fold it. In fact, I'll show you. There's my pattern for that right there. Was for that, and I think it was for that. Yeah, something like that. Or folded over. Yeah. So lovely idea there. Just I would have never thought of that, and hats off again to those who use that, and I've seen that on their videos. I've got a nut welded on the other side, a big washer and a nut. There is a little gap there. I don't care, because I can spray some paint down in there. That'll be fine. You know, when you hook the fender on it, it'll be just wonderful. It'll be a lot better than the sheetrock screws they had in it before. And everything seems to look good. There's one thing I don't like is this is a little flimsy right here, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small piece and just put it to here. And yeah, there'll be a gap up underneath there, but we're going to paint all that. And I'm just looking for structure, you know. You got the fender on there, nobody is going to see it. Yeah, this looks like hell, but we'll beat that in and throw a little fiberglass on it, and she'll look beautiful, and I'll be able to patina that white, or kind of like the color of the primer that's showing through. So I've got a couple other little spots I want to do. I'm going to have to knock this out. I want to do this because I'm on this side, and there's a couple up front I need to do. I need to do a little bit more seaming up front. Inside also, my screw holes that I went through the double patch. There's a patch on the inside, patch on the outside. I need to plug those, and then I'll go inside and seam the other one up, plug those holes also, and it will secure both patches, the outside patch and the inside patch. So essentially this is a lot better than throwing some chicken wire up there and building it all out of fiberglass, you know. And it's all metal, and it don't rain much here, so once I prime it up and you know, fill it full of paint and sealant and then when that's all done, you know, squirt oil all up in the, yeah, you're not going to have a problem with any rust. And if you do, it will just kind of go with the, but as far as rot, no rot. All the rot's gone. So I'm happy with that, and that's all I need to please, right? Yeah. So okay, I'm going to get at it some more, weld a little bit more. I'm almost out of wire. I got another roll. Have to run on my welder. Again, when I'm welding this thin metal, it's like welding beer cans. So it's like a million little spot welds. It's the best I can do. Okay, well, I'll show you the finished product, or the steps into the next finished product. It's a little dark in here, so you're probably not going to be able to see that, but I did put another little strap right there, and then what I did is took some base coat, wherever it might be, right there, and I put quite a bit of reducer in it. It's pretty thick still. I didn't run out of reducer. I'm not going to buy any more, but I mixed up some reducer with it to make it as thin as I could, and I shot it all in there. All my booger welds are all, you know, you got to realize that this is all spot welded on there to begin with. All these panels, every panel is not seamed. Every panel is just spot welded together, and then the whole body is dunked in paint, and then it's sealed, you know, with seam sealer. So the important parts are seam sealed, so no weather will get in, and we'll do the same thing here. But all the little holes and stuff and nooks and crannies, I just shot that paint in. It was running out all over. I took an old parts brush and rubbed it all over it. I might do it again, but probably not. Here's the deal about welding beer cans, and this is what I akin it to, is welding two beer cans together, because you can't run a bead. Even at the lowest setting of that little 125 Lincoln welder, I'm still punching holes, and you'll get just a little bit hole, a little bit hole, a little bit hole, and you have to fill in those holes, and it's just booger city, you know. So it's just a series of tacks. I can't. It's just thin. It's just like welding beer cans. So you can't really grind off. Now I ground it down a little bit. You know, a lot of the profile off of it. But you can't grind it much, because if you grind too far, you're going to grind your weld off, and you're back where you were before. So ground that down, and yeah, I did welded the original stud back in that. This was a peach. I mean, every time you touched it with a welder, it'd blow a hole in it. And the same way with these here. The same with these. Every time you touched it, it'd blow a hole in it. But sorry, excuse me. COVID. Excuse me. I've got nuts here now that the bolts are going to. This peach here, this was a delight. This was an absolute thrill to do this one. Somehow I had contaminated the threads of the bolt I had in there, or welded it in there, and when I tried to get it off, the bolt snapped off, so I ended up having to drill it and tap it again. God, what a pain in the ass. Okay, anyways, what I'm going to do is clean this up with a wire wheel, and then I'm going to shoot base coat all in there and get it all over down in there. So some sort of thin paint to get down in there as a rust inhibitor, excuse me. And then I'm going to take some seam sealant and seal this all, seam seal it all, and then I'm going to paint it with some red Rust-Oleum. So let's get after that. Yeah, I know I got a little red up there, but I'm probably gonna kind of clean that up. Remember the lines right here where the fender welting goes, so it's going to cover a lot of that up. And then I'm going to kind of cover it up with a little bit of white base coat to make it look like the red is faded through in a couple of spots. So it's, like I said, I just have to satisfy myself. So, and what I'm looking for is structure and to keep it from rusting. So, and things don't get that. There's no salt here, no. So this will last the rest of my life probably. Grandkids will be driving this, probably. And if later on someone might want to take the chrome off and do a little body work on it, straighten it out and shoot it red again, God bless them, whatever. So there you go. Alright, let's let that dry, and then we'll get some seam sealer on there and close in all these gaps and stuff with some seam sealer. and then I'll finish it with a coat of red Rust-Oleum enamel. I can't tell you what I'm using for hard as nails because Warner Brothers probably owns it and they'd pull my video. So I'm just yeah, there you go. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that nice? That's nice. I thought that was nice. Yeah. Well, just seam seal it all up. Really nice. So you want to do that, and then give it a little grandma's finger, you know, with a pair of gloves. So I'm going to get this all done up really nice. With the brown 25, and I extolled the virtues of the brown 25 on my 67 video. It is $2.77 at the big box store, and it's exactly the same as the $25 tube of Trem Seal. So yeah. So then you'll end up with something like that. See that. So we'll let that dry. Still a little wet. Base coat's still a little wet. So let that dry. You know, this will probably take a day to dry, and then we'll brush on some red, some Rust-Oleum, and that should be done. Should be done then. I got the insides here too, where it got way down in there with a paintbrush and got in there too, so it should be good. Probably more than most people would do. Maybe not. Well, the only thing I could find was this, and I got thinking about it, and you know, what's the hurry? Essentially, it's kind of a cool day, so all that base coat, all that reducer in that base coat, if you go and shoot it with enamel over the top of it, it's going to get real angry. So you know, instead of boiling and stuff like that, I'm going to let that cook for a little while. I went to 3 different stores and none of them had any red Rust-Oleum in a can. So you know, they had black and green and stuff. I know they make red, and I didn't want to go to a bunch of stores today, so I didn't. So there it is, pretty solid. I'm really jazzed. All that rot's gone, and it's just, I mean, it's just you know, it's part of the car now. You know, I mean, it's like nice and structurally sound. The other side, what I'm going to do, I thought about just clipping that because of the pain in the ass it was, and then I thought, no, Don't half-ass it. Do it the right way. Just use the whole thing. You bought the thing, use the whole thing. So I'm going to cut my wiring harness in half. No, I'm going to cut that section out right there where the wiring harness is, and what we'll do is pull it up and out of the way and that kind of stuff. And I'm going to take this beam right here, cut it off, and weld it up in there, and I'm going to weld that instead of have that bolted right there. That bolt in there is a big hole and it moves. So, you know, if it moves, when you cut that section out of there, the body's going to fold. So you don't want it to do that. So I need to get something solid there. Anyways, that's the plan. I need to do a little bit more massaging on this door. But she's all right. There you go. That's my take on a heater channel. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this and learned something. I know I did. It's a pain in the ass. That's what I learned. So we're going to turn this around and do the other side. I'm not going to film it. It's just more metal work, but I'll let you know when I get all the metal work done. All right. Thanks for wrenching with me. Keep on bugging.